Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday night live stream. And what I want to do was actually start to stream around this time because it seems like we can get all the information in as the news comes out. So let's just jump right into today's topic. So first of all, as the title and thumbnail suggests, we're taking a look at the FDIC and the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. And what it's doing essentially is giving the green light to crypto and digital assets. Now, this year has been kind of topsy-turvy, a little bit up and down, and we haven't even hit April yet. I know that the market is struggling right now, but it takes some time, and I think things are getting set up. Hopefully we can get the macro in line, but these are the pieces behind the scenes that are happening that I think is what will lead to eventually the bull market that everybody's been promised. So this is what we have. FDIC says banks can engage in crypto activities without prior approval. So the FDIC, if not from America, they essentially are the insurance company in case something goes wrong. And unless things have changed in quite some time, I think that they have a little bit, but you're insured up to $100,000 for your bank accounts. Now, it's different for different corporations and things like that, but that is what the FDIC does. And they overrule and take a look at the banks and kind of tell them what they can and can't do, as they're a regulatory body as well. But here's what we have. The FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, announced Friday that the banks can engage in legally permitted activities, including those that involve crypto, without receiving prior regulatory approval, and so long as they manage their risks appropriately. Now, this can be up for speculation, but this is a positive move in the direction for getting banks into the mix. Now, you and I have been here for quite some time. And we know that this is never a great idea for banks to get involved, especially in our industry. However, we have a big tent. We have a big tent of people that fall underneath it. And people will not get it and understand it. And they need different avenues to get into Bitcoin and digital assets. So if they have to go to the old resolution way of banks, I suppose, and that's where, of course, we are supposed to come in and kind of help the people that we know, family and friends, to say, hey, you don't really need a bank anymore. You can do cold storage. You can actually own things. You don't have to rely on the banks. You don't have to wait for them to, go out, and you don't have to do a run on the banks to figure out, hey, they may not have had it. And I will say this. If the banks keep doing the same thing, which is fractional reserve lending, if you don't know what that is, we'll do a video on it later. But essentially, it's taking the funds from a person and loaning out the other 98% of that value and just keep doing it in a fractional reserve way. Now, if they do that for crypto digital assets, this industry is over. I hate to say that to people. But if that's what it is, it's good news, but you have to take the good with the bad, and that is essentially what we have here. So this move, although positive, reversed previous FDIC policy, which requires banks to clear any crypto activities in advance. The FDIC is turning the page on the flawed approach of the past 3 years. This is from the new chairman, Travis Hill. I'm going to read that again. The FDIC is turning the page on the flawed approach of the past 3 years. Where were these people a year ago? It's like in the prior administration. Oh, and don't worry, we're going to get into the current administration and what they're doing. It just seems like they were either dragging their feet or purposely shooting down crypto digital assets and having Operation Choke Point 2.0 to really hinder innovation. So I'm glad that people get it and they understand, and they're putting this into the industry, and we'll let the free market decide. He also states there will be additional moves in the future to clarify banks' engagement with crypto products and services. And this is on top of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. And they moved the same way to clear the way for banks to move into the crypto sector. So it's looking like from day one, any banks can get into this and go, look, we can do things with digital assets and cryptos. We might be able to fill in the blanks, whatever they think that they can do. Probably the most easy one to do would probably be custody services, but we'll see how it all goes. And again, I say this is a positive move in the right direction. I just see problems afoot. Let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And I just wanted to start with some good news before I pummel everybody with bad news. And I hate to be the harbinger of ill will, but there's some crazy things going on. Pardons. And before we get into this isn't a political channel. I'm not a geopolitical expert. I'm not really into politics that much, only as far as they move the needle for portfolios. I don't really want to get into it because it's a very dirty field, but I will say that things that are going on, I mean, It's interesting. We'll say that. And I'm going to leave this in the discussion for later the Q&A. Trump pardons BitMEX co-founders, White House official says. Now, I'm not per se negative on this aspect, but some other pardons that are coming out raise eyebrows. Here's what we have on this one. Trump granted pardons to Benjamin Delo, Arthur Hayes, and Samuel Reed, who had pled guilty to money laundering charges. We don't know who those gentlemen are. They're the founders and co-founders of BitMEX. And apparently, what they were accused of were, this is Dale Hayes and Reed, of willfully violating the Bank Secrecy Act between 2015 and 2020 by failing to adopt anti-money laundering and KYC or Know Your Customer programs. Now, this is the same thing that CZ from Binance was busted for, and they actually pled guilty to this. And Trump came out and said, nope, pardon. I have no problems here. I have problems with, and I will tell you why, as far as people that don't follow the KYC and anti-money laundering, it's because when people lose their funds, this is a way ranging debate, but when people lose their funds because they get scammed out, which happens every single day of every hour of every week, when they lose that and they go into these centralized exchanges and they're allowed to launder money, and the centralized exchanges do know exactly what is going on, that leads to people who could not get their money back. Of course, people will say, but Rob, you don't understand. It's because the people that allowed that to happen screwed up. And it's on them because this is self-service, and this is what decentralization means. It's a good point. However, I would like you to be that brave if you lose your entire life savings like I've seen other people have. And when this happens and these different centralized exchanges go through this and allow all these hackers to do whatever they want to, this, I think, is a problem. And we'll see where this all goes. But on top of this, I don't like what they did, but as far as like pardons go, this is the best one. Because on top of that, President also pardoned Trevor Milton, who's the founder of bankrupt electric and hydrogen-powered truck maker Nikola. I don't know if you knew about this one. This gentleman right here, he set up, essentially, he was supposed to be the new Elon Musk. And he came out with this electric electric truck. Actually, it was more of a semi. And he didn't have hydrogen power. He didn't have it in works. And it was a total scam. And he scammed all of the investors out. So Trump pardoned him today. Here's what happened. The pardon of Milton, who was sentenced to 4 years in prison for exaggerating the potential of his technology, it didn't work, could wipe out hundreds of millions of dollars in restitution that prosecutors were seeking for defrauded investors. That's potential because he's pardoned by the President of the United States. This is where it gets interesting. Milton, 40, and his wife donated more than $1.8 million to a Trump re-election campaign fund less than a month before the November election, according to the Federal Election Commission. This is just not some willy-nilly information. This is from the Fed. Let's see how true it is. At Milton's trial, prosecutors say a company video of a prototype truck appeared to be driving down a desert highway. And this is, of course, what actually brought investors into it. And this video, which you can see right here, this is from Chasing Tesla, American Greed. Fantastic episode. I linked in the description. You can watch the whole video. It's 10 minutes long. Fascinating. And essentially what they did is they had this track on a slope, and they put this semi on it, and they just let it roll downhill. And they made a commercial, and they put it all their investors and go, look, we already got this one that actually works. It's hydrogen power. We're going to beat Tesla. Or we're going to be the next Elon Musk and Tesla. And of course, people invested in that, and they got wiped out. So Trump just gave him a pardon today. And funny enough, Copyzilla is actually, I think he covered this just today, matter of fact. And it makes you think, if these pardons are going out hot and heavy, what's to say that SBF doesn't get a pardon? Because, he just defrauded investors, did he not? And if he's going to get pardoned, and I'm not saying he is, what's the difference between that and Alex Mashinsky, who actually has already pled guilty and is waiting for his hearing? The same thing that happened to Milton. So we'll see how that works out. Again, it's not crypto related, but I just kind of bring this in and to bring this home, actually, as far as pardons and things like that. I don't know if anybody was dumb enough to invest into this. And if you are, I'm sorry. US SEC drops charges against Hawk2A girl, Haley Welch, in the crypto case. If you don't know what happened, she released a token on meme coin. Fine, it's all gambling. That's fine. We all know what gamblers are, but some people don't. which was linked to Welch's viral persona, initially saw a market cap of surge to 490 million before it crashed in under an hour, over 90%. Investors who were impacted by the crash filed a lawsuit against those behind the project, alleging that the coin had been promoted and sold without proper registration. So in this situation, I'm not a lawyer. There may be lawyers in the chat. Maybe you can help me with this. But if the SEC backs off, I believe you can still bring a civil case and say, hey, I need damages. I went through hardship because of this, and I will sue you. And maybe they can get some funds back. But again, it's a meme coin. They should have known it was gambling, but it is amazing how all these different agencies are dropping off. This could be good. This could be bad. This is just what it is. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And moving back into the crypto sector, as I should have done, positive stuff, kind of. GameStop. They're raising funds, or excuse me, they're raising funds, and including the debt to buy Bitcoin. This actually happened this week. And it was an announcement, and it was actually a filing from the SEC, over here, where they talk about, this is a SEC filing just on Tuesday, where they're going to acquire Bitcoin. Also, they were talking about acquiring stable coins. I'll let you figure that out, why that is. And because of this, it initially pumped, and then the next day, I want to say this is Thursday, it dropped 25%. in 24 hours. And this is confusing to me, and because I've been talking about this for quite some time. MicroStrategy had a great idea. They're like, look, we're data analytics, and for the last 2 decades, our price hasn't moved much. We did really good in the dot-com era, but there was a bubble and that burst. And for 2 decades, we didn't do anything. Michael Saylor found the hardest asset out there, Bitcoin, plowed money into it with his company, and you can see where things went when he first started to buy Bitcoin. Company stock went up, everybody was happy. This was the first buy on August 7th, 2020, and you can see where things went, and now things are going pretty good. And also, you can see that there was a company called Metaplanet, Japanese-based investment firm, mostly hotels and real estate. And you can just kind of see where, same type of thing, over a 5-year time frame, you can see where they first started a Bitcoin, April 2024, and where things went. It went up because they put the hardest asset on their balance sheet. So it is perplexing to me why GameStop, which if you don't know it, it's a place where you can buy and sell games. You used to be able to sell games. I don't know if you can still do it. And there's many locations across the United States, and I believe in Canada. But the price just pummeled, and over the last 5 days, so here we have the 25% drop, $30, roughly $21, and it's been pretty much stagnant just today. We'll see what happens. But it is odd. Maybe in the long run we'll see something, but it's interesting. And then, of course, here we are. So one thing that to note is that they're not going in lightly in Bitcoin. They're actually going to close a significant number of stores to invest in Bitcoin. It'll work on the long run. I mean, if they have at least a 4-year time horizon, this is what's happening. The SEC filing, which was on Tuesday, retail did not reveal which stores it plans to cut, but a significant number of locations set to close based on current market conditions and individual store performance. I got to tell you, I don't know why. You know, if you're a gamer, I think you can buy a lot of those things on Steam, download everything, right? I don't know why you need a physical location like GameStop. Maybe it's to buy the console, but can't you buy a console someplace else? I'm not a big gamer. Let me know where I'm wrong. Currently, the company operates 3,203 stores worldwide, with 23 in the U.S. GameStop also announced plans for offering $1.3 billion in 5-year convertible notes to purchase Bitcoin. So they are essentially taking in the MicroStrategy's playbook. Hope it works out for them. Hopefully they have a long time horizon. I think they should do quite well. But in initial parts, they're going to get pummeled in the markets themselves and on media. So we'll see how that works out. And then lastly, more bad news. Sorry. Germany, who I've been quoting for quite some time, had a great capital gains tax, not a loophole, but a law, which states, and correct me if I'm wrong, German citizens, is that if you held your assets after a year and sold it, there was no long-term capital gains. You only were charged for short-term capital gains. And then Germany just this year, or maybe it was last year, I should say, they sold a boatload of Bitcoin, which was fine. It's what they see. That's what they're able to do. And now they're coming back and saying, we're going to reconsider this no capital gains tax on crypto. And it's looked like they're going to repeal that and give you a 30% tax. Now, this is just in the talkings, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And I got to tell you, not a great play for Germany if they want to be a hub. But we'll see how it all works out. I don't like the direction that is going. And we'll go from there. And of course, if you're in the United States, you can do a loophole like I did, which was iTrust. If you're looking for a Roth IRA, there's a link in the description. And the reason I bring this up, I'm going to bring this up until April 15th. With a Roth IRA, it is tax exempt. So do you know how Peter Thiel, the famous investor, made billions of dollars? He put his PayPal stock in a Roth IRA, which wasn't worth squat. He did that for 20 years. He's over 59 and a half years old. He's starting to withdraw all the appreciation from the PayPal stock. Again, not worth anything. He takes it out tax-free. The same thing with the Roth IRA. If you put Bitcoin in there, like I've done some altcoins as well, you can put it in there tax-free, and you can trade in there tax-free. So take a look at that, $100 for a sign-up bonus. And what's great about April 15th is that if you get in before then, you can contribute, because there's a maximum amount per year, you can contribute for 2024, and after April 15th, also 2025. So you can double whammy. I am limited in that. That's what a Roth IRA is. If you're looking for more information, links in the description, and also a video on why I am using iTrust now for 3 years. And also they have the same custody services as BlackRock and MicroStrategy. So that's it. So look, that's it for tonight. Thanks for sticking with me. If you like today's video, which I don't know why you would because it's pretty negative, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Everything we talk about is time sensitive. Now, let's get into the chats, and I'll answer all your questions to the best of my abilities. And hopefully not everybody's too miffed because of the negativity. But it is what it is. Verhoofd Flufen says, fool again. I'm sorry. I didn't know that the Germany would do that. I didn't, kind of caught me by surprise. Now, again, this is actually just hearsay and talk. There's also talk about Puerto Rico becoming independent. And I don't think that's going to happen either. But again, with the smoke, there's fire. So we'll see how it is then. Cransonator on point. Hey, Mullet's here. 300, not surprised. Big nationwide anti-Elon weekend too, I believe. Yeah. I got to tell you, if you're out there keying Cybertrucks or Teslas, what are you doing? It's not like that's really going to Elon. If you hate Elon Musk, hate Elon Musk. Don't hate the people that have bought a car that is a pretty good car or a pretty good vehicle. Now, because of your stupidity and your arrogance and your anger, now they have to go fix that vehicle because you want to key it. I mean, come on. I don't want to get too far into that, but don't be a jerk. Let's see. Mr. Robert says, hey, Rob, how long can I circumvent capital gains tax by holding gold? Asking for a friend. Well, I'm not a financial advisor, but my question for you would be this. Can you take loans against your gold? Because I've always wondered about that because, there's different companies that'll give you loans against Bitcoin. Let me tell you, don't do it. I fell victim to that. Celsius. But if you can take loans against the assets that you own, which we take loans ourselves against the real estate and properties that we own, works out pretty well because we have a collateral asset. But if you can do something like that, it'll be the same thing of what the uber rich do, which is buy, borrow, die, which is a very famous one where essentially they buy an asset, they borrow against it, and they just die and they leave their debts, it gets wiped out, or it's put in a trust and it goes to their kids or the company. So I'm not for sure as far as capital gains by holding gold. I would say this. If you like to hold gold, you can put that in a Roth IRA as well. Just saying. And actually, iTrust, I actually own gold and silver in that Roth IRA. I'm not just a Bitcoin person. How was Rob tonight? Rob is fantastic. I feel really good. It's been a great day here in Puerto Rico. I don't know where you live, but man, I got to tell you, if you guys have an opportunity to visit or come here to live, this place is awesome. And I love going. Here's the thing. I could use more friends to come down here. That'd be great. So if you don't round trip your bags, maybe you can come down here. I can introduce you to some people. Maybe we can do some real estate investing. There's a lot of real estate here that can need a lot of help. And not just like come here and then, buy property and jack up the rates. I'm talking about like people who could use some help down here in Puerto Rico, help out, put money into the system, start to grow the Puerto Rican economy. If I'm telling you, it's ripe for some really good things to happen. But I'm feeling pretty good. Thank you about it. Negativity, we're used to it. I try to look for the good stuff. I mean, I really do. It's just that the bad stuff, there's a lot of it. And it's probably because the sentiment is bad. But it's all how you look at things, right? I look at this market and I say to myself, it's like it is that gift that we keep asking for. We still think to ourselves, how many of you, raise your hand or put in the comment section, how many of you actually have gone through this market when it was really going up and said to yourself, you know what? I think I bought too much, especially when it started to really go up. Yeah, right. So none of us did. And I think it's one of those opportunities to take a look back and say, okay, and this is what I had at a meetup yesterday. Actually, it wasn't a meetup, it was just some old friends. We talked about some things. These are guys who've been in the crypto game for years and years and years. Also, one XRP whale told me that XRP is going to go to $5 in May. That's actually $5.15 in May. And then they also said it between $8 and $12 by the end of the year. I'm just saying that's what the whale said. Anyhow, so we were talking about the crypto market in general, and they follow a lot of people, and they've got some pretty deep pockets. And they were like, we think that this rally or this market where we're at now, there's no rally. This market where we're at now, to really get to the next step, it's really just comes down to Bitcoin and then a handful of really solid, good projects that people have to really take a look at and say, okay, how big is the community? What's the real utility and is it actually being used? How great is the team? Is the tokenomics pretty good? And then where is this thing going? Where are the partnerships? And you can take a look at that and just ascertain which ones will actually make it. And they, I'm telling you, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Cardano, Solana, SWI, some things, Avalanche, some things to really look at. And there's some other ones that are doing well. But I always take a look at these markets and these projects and to say, why don't they just do what Facebook did and what Amazon did, which was, we've got a lot of money, we've got a lot of the developers, and we got a lot of manpower. We're going to absorb you. We're going to absorb all of you, and we're going to make a bigger project. Essentially, take a look at what Facebook did. Facebook didn't make Instagram. Facebook bought Instagram. Facebook did a lot of things and just assimilated in it. And then Amazon what was it? Not World Market, Whole Foods. They just started absorbing just these big corporations and just saying, hey, we're just going to make ourselves even bigger and bigger. That's what I think is going to eventually happen into crypto, but I could be wrong. Brian Bravo says, donate the player. I can agree with that. Will Puerto Rico copy Wyoming and a state stablecoin with KYC and freeze and seize? No. Puerto Rico is not even close to that. Puerto Rico and the banks don't have it together right now. And actually, Puerto Rico and their bonds are bankrupt. So there is a process going through with that. And, like I said, this place needs a lot of help. And I think there's a lot of people that could help it. They just need to come here and figure out how great this place is. Ah, man. Rob, UK is finished. I'm an ex-squatty. It is. Sorry. Yeah, the UK. Guy had some good insights from the last NFA Live, which things I didn't really think about. One of those being that how, the temperamental stance of the United States, which I gotta admit is pretty spot on. But these are the things we're going to go for. Web3 says, why no loan on crypto? I'll tell you why. It's because with the loans that I have gone through so far, I am shell-shocked and have PTSD. So I will never loan out my crypto because I don't really know what's going on in the background. And if you really take a look at it, and people, these companies are going to say, and there's going to be new ones that are going to come out, they're going to say, no, we're going to hold it, we're going to do anything with it. Okay, well, how the hell do you get all the yield then? Oh, well, there's yield in this FASIC. How do you get the yield? Where does the yield come from? See, a lot of the yield where it comes from is they take your crypto and they rehypothecate it, meaning they take it out and they give it to somebody else and they say, do whatever you want with it, but give us some collateral. And of course, they give a minimal amount. And then when the markets start to crash because they're so volatile, then they lose it. And then that company loses it, and then you lose it. It is one of those things. I just don't want to do it. That's what it comes down to. And I'm going to tell you this. If anybody wants to do loans against crypto, cool. Go ahead and do it. Let me know you did it, what the company is, and I'll sit back and cheer you on. And if it works out, then we'll talk. But I'm not going to be the pioneer. Pioneers are the ones with the arrows in their backs. I'm not doing that. Okay. Sounds like a trap. Rusty's here. I can carpentry and bake bread. Those are pretty good skills, I must admit, especially in how. I could use both of those, matter of fact. Especially, yeah. But you know what? If you could come here and then do some training here for a charity that I work with called Pro Techos, where they build roofs for the underprivileged people here in Puerto Rico. If you can come here and just do some training sessions, fantastic. Let's see. But they got some pretty good trainers here too. Jeff says, but how's the infrastructure in Puerto Rico? Hers not great. I love San Juan, by the way, Gorda City. Infrastructure is poor. There's these things called potholes, first of all, and they come out at night. They come out from nowhere and they attack you. And these potholes are everywhere on the damn interstate. Besides that, they have a huge, magnificent problem with electricity and power outages. That's why when people come here, I say you need two things. You need a generator and you need to get some solar panels. And solar panels, you have two options. You can either buy the solar panels or you can rent the solar panels. There's pros and cons to each of them. But the more people that get into solar panels, the less of a burden it places on the grid and the better off everybody else is. So in my places, it's solar and the generators. So hopefully the more people do that, the less of a load and the more that we can actually help out here. All right. Rob, I like to go live in beautiful San Diego. Crunk, my son lives in California, Gardenia to be specific. And I can just tell you right now, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And it is beautifully, beautifully overvaluated and super expensive. I mean, the weather's great and nice, and I guess people are pretty cool. But I would say this: when this all pops up, travel a little bit, find out what you like, and then put your roots down someplace. Jimmy says, if we rehab Puerto Rico, maybe we can become the 51st state. I'd take it. Let's see. But Maul does say Canada's the 51st. I know Canadians hate that joke. Americans think it's funny, so I'm going to let it go. Rob got his Patrick Swayze shirt on Smooth. Yes. I will tell you this. The best place, you're getting old when the majority of your clothes are from Costco. This is a Costco original. Also, the greatest place in the universe to get a hot dog and a drink for $1.50. No one can beat that. Mart is a whale? ? Who's Mart? I don't know who you're talking about, Jim. Let's see. Hey, Shaolin's here. Clever is beautiful. See, Shaolin is here. When celebrities stop in, you gotta pause. Free Roger Ver. Yes, exactly. So I talked to Roger on Wednesday, and I said, hey, man, I want you to come on the NFA live show. And he said, yeah. He goes, still waiting for legal to clear me after that Cointelegraph interview. I said, look, when you're cleared, I want you to come on just for our show. You can talk about whatever you want to, but I really would like to talk about the book and the hijacking of Bitcoin. That would be very interesting. And just to get a new perspective. Yeah. Lisa says, Rob, don't you understand that people are upset when the richest man in the world is cutting the help for the poorest in the world? So this is what I wanted to try to avoid. And here's the thing I have to ask Lisa. Is every single program that he's cut needed? Did he make a mistake on cutting some? Absolutely. I'm sure we've all made mistakes. And hopefully we can get it right. But the question I have is, how long are we going to keep running everything before going totally broke? Should there be some oversight? Yeah, because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong here. Damn, I didn't want to go this route. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think Elon personally shuts them down and goes to the company or the division of the government and says, get all your and get out. I think he just makes recommendations. Someone has to review those recommendations and then they shut things down. I think that's how it goes. But did he make mistakes? I'm sure he did. You know why I know he made mistakes? Because he's a person and everybody makes mistakes. So hopefully they can get that right. It's going to suck for a while, but you know what? When you have all this free money going everywhere, there has to be repercussions. You cannot keep giving out free money to everybody. And I know there's fraud going on. I know that there's a ton of fraud going on. Jon Stewart had a great interview. Let me see if I can find it. And it was essentially about fraud and abuse. And Jon Stewart, if you don't know, he's the host of The Daily Show. And he is, very left-leaning guy. And when he heard about the fraud and abuse, he couldn't even believe it. So I'll just leave it at that. And let me see if I can find that. And of course I can. The weekly show with Jon Stewart. I didn't know that even existed. 1 second. Here it is. Look for this video. I didn't know Jon Stewart was doing this. The weekly show with Jon Stewart, whenever you get podcasts. He interviewed this guy. I forgot his name. But they pretty much just talked about the billions and billions of fraud. And they did talk about mistakes as well. So we'll just get into that one. And then let's get out of here. All right. Ascertain. I like that word. Yeah, it's a reasonable word, and I picked up along the way. It's alive now. It's live. PR can't keep the lights. That is not true. We can. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of people from Luma to come in. And it takes a lot of people getting into solar panels. Okay. Shaolin, I got a promotion of salary. Congratulations. And I'm working 60 hours a week. Sorry. After the math, I would have made more money if I was still out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've done the same thing. I think we've all been there. Like, hey, we're gonna up your annual salary. And we're also gonna give you a heck of a lot more work. And that's just it. It's like, it's all about the freedom that you can do. Do you have more freedom because you make more money? Or do you have freedom because you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want? I think that's the big thing that investments give to you. Jack says, Rob, your video feed is awful. Yeah. 3 arrows in the back, exactly. 3 arrows capital. That's pretty good. I'm going to remember that one. Is Rob on the green screen again? It's always been a green screen. See a cat? Rose and the Islands are rough. It's very true. Electricity is overrated. Not so. I enjoy it myself. Red Crayon, just read what I miss. Nothing. Essentially, we just talked about Trump pardoning a bunch of people and FDIC and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency giving the green light to banks to be able to do things with crypto and digital assets like custody. So that's good. Majority of my clothes are at Walmart. It's a baller move right there. It's a baller on a budget. Jared says, Rob, when is iTrust going to get the BIT license so I can use the service in New York? Question is, when is New York going to lighten up and let more crypto companies come in? I can't believe that Gemini is able to operate there. They should have started the Pentagon. That's also very true. Brett Bear got to go in from Doge. And all these things that we're talking about, like, it's good to know, especially to feel in control. But I mean, like, all these things, like, do we have any control over this stuff? Really, we don't. We can just do the best that we can on our sphere of control and just let the rest fall to the wayside. And that's really it. Salary is a great scam. I work when we're selling. Yeah, exactly. That's why I stopped working for people. I realized I would never make it like that. PR can keep the lights on. It's not at the same time. Very true. Yeah. Should 3 still going strong? Okay, let's leave it like this. Let's get out of here. It's Friday night. Happy Friday. Sorry for the late join. I'm just glad you're here, man. How do we look forward to this market? What's positive or opportunities lie ahead? The opportunities are always the same thing, which is as things go down, the majority of people are going to get out because that's just how it is. It happened in 2018, 2019. It definitely happened in 2020. And the only ones that actually did well were the ones that stuck around. The longer you stick around, the more things kind of work out. And it's not like it's funny because it's like the harder and the longer I work, the luckier I get. It has nothing to do with luck. So right now things suck, right? We were like, hey, let me talk to your manager because I was promised a bull run. I didn't get it. Are these 4-year cycles still intact? Meh. When I take a look at all these things, I just say to myself, fundamentally, has anything changed with Bitcoin? Did China ban it again? Actually, let's talk about China unbanning it and making things official. And then did the president start up Operation Choke Point 3.0? No, actually, the president and entire administration is very pro-Bitcoin. Has the Fed talked about, raising rates exponentially? Are they talking about keeping things flat and maybe a couple of rate cuts? What about quantitative tightening? Well, they slowed that down as well. And what about the wars? What's happening in Russia and Ukraine? I actually have some good things. What about the tariffs? Well, April 2nd is reciprocal, and it looks like India just bent the knee a little bit as they reduced their tariffs by 55%. Mexico is also looking to do the same thing. So I look at all these things, and I'm like, okay, we have easing there. Tightening's essentially slowing down. This tariff nonsense is going to really work itself out at some point. I think it's going to be a complete disaster like everybody is fear-mongering talking about. And all I got to do is not be stupid and sell everything like crazy, because that's a weakness, and just keep doing what I've been doing, either doing nothing and letting me just sit on the sidelines, or dollar cost averaging and buying. It's just, I just look at this and I say to myself, what has anything really changed fundamentally besides the macro? No. So I still see this opportunity, and only time will tell. I could be totally wrong. That's it for tonight. So look, if you like tonight's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Saturday, as usual, we'll see where we go. And then Sunday, we'll have Jerry on. He'll enlighten us about the really important stuff. But that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, wherever you're at. And I will see you guys in the next one. So have a great rest of the evening or day. Adios.